Hello, good morning. Can you hear me okay? Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk to you about WISE. It's Willco Intelligent Stored Energy, otherwise known as WISE. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Kevin Williams. We've got actually 2 patents on this particular product and this series. The patents are for a distributed energy source system. So that's a mouthful. It's really a way for us to be able to store the electricity that we use. So let me give you a little background, again, about myself, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about WISE and about how we got here and hopefully where we're going. I am a native Kansas Citian and a serial entrepreneur. I've started several companies. The one that we're probably most proud of right now is called Willco Technologies. It's a company right now that is a software development company and a systems integration company. We created a piece of software that is actually used by the Department of Defense. It tracks all of the cybersecurity training and certification requirements for the federal government. We've got over 1.4 million licensed users, and I'm very proud to say that today, right here from Kansas City, we service over 800,000 active users in this system. Again, right here from Kansas City. Little known fact, but that's not why I'm here today. We're very proud of that startup that we started 11 years ago, still going strong. I'm here today to talk to you about WISE now. So the way we got here, I started really becoming interested in the smart grid, the emerging smart grid, which was, that was back in 2009. I really realized that I needed to diversify from this great software product that we had, but it's government. It's a lot of uncertainty around that, and it was all of our eggs in one basket. So I wanted to create a product and really take a deep dive into areas that are complex and that have a deep need. So we really studied and looked at the electric grid. I realized back then that the electric grid was really aging, and it was suspect to hacking and really vulnerable. And the equipment that we really began with the electric grid had not changed much since it was invented. So I really looked at it, began to study, and I understood that, in the not too distant future, we'll actually be able to store the electricity that we need to power our homes and offices. That's a pretty powerful thought when you think about it, storing electricity. So what we did was we really looked at some of the problem statements. Electricity, the way it's generated today, is generated in mass. KC Power and Light has power plants. They push it out on transmission lines. It goes down to distribution lines and then into our homes and businesses. That's the model. That's what started when the electric grid began. But today, there's a way to be able to make that distributed, put those sources out into the communities. So you've got solar, for instance. Rooftop solar is there. You've got wind. You've got other ways to do that. But those are intermittent types of energy. So if the wind's not blowing, it doesn't produce electricity. If the sun's not shining, it doesn't produce electricity. Well, what if we could actually store those things? So that's what we really began to look at. How could we do that? We came up with a way to be able to do that ourselves, as well as a few other companies now. Some of you may have heard of the Powerwall by Tesla. Our patents are very similar. We can do the same thing, only better, because we call ours intelligent stored energy. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Really, when we look at the electric grid, there's also a need for the electric companies themselves to learn more about how the consumers are consuming electricity. I don't know if you know this, but if your power goes out, the electric company doesn't know that until the first customer calls and says, hey, the storm knocked out my power. Well, now with the smart grid, there's two-way communication. So you can actually, the electric company can tell. So what we're able to do with WISE, with intelligent stored energy, is have two-way communication back to the electric company. That helps them with load balancing. It helps them with forecasting, a number of other things. So in addition to being able to store the electricity, there's also something else that's coming. It's really kind of here now. It's called the Internet of Things. If you haven't heard about it, you'll be hearing about it very shortly. In fact, the Internet of Things is connecting all of the electric devices that are in our lives together. It's machines talking to machines. So the Internet of Things are billions of devices that'll be coming on and connecting to the internet. Some of you may have seen a commercial by Samsung about a refrigerator that's out. It's really the first one that you really see in mass. It's a refrigerator where a guy's at the grocery store and he's shopping and he uses his phone to really look and see what's there and what he needs to get. That's the Internet of Things. So refrigerators, washing machines, soaps, everything you can think of that's connected will soon be there. Well, WISE also does that. It connects to the Internet of Things. Some of the problems that we have. So if you think about this, the problem is there are all these billions of devices that are out there, but as consumers, we need to be able to control them. So WISE also helps you do that through your smartphone or mobile device. Okay? So some of the solutions that are there, not only are we creating a product that stores electricity, there are a few other companies, some big names, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Tesla. Some of the big corporations are doing this as well. But again, ours is intelligent stored energy. I'll share a little bit more about that with you here in just a second. Again, two-way communication. That's what's important, is to be able to share this information and get it at your fingertips through your smartphone or your mobile device. And the Internet of Things being this huge, massive way that's going to change our lives with all the things that are in our lives connected. So that's going to be really important. All right? So that's the beginnings of WISE. It's energy storage along with the Internet of Things. We call it intelligent energy storage. Here's a depiction, an infographic of what that sort of looks like. So imagine, if you will, a storage device that's sitting outside your home, much like your central air conditioning unit. It's outside your home, it's there, it's storing electricity either from the electric grid or from alternative sources like solar or wind. Once it's stored and collected, you can then use it first. So it helps with peak shaving, it helps with peak demand. Those days that here in Kansas City that we experience when it's 100 degrees in August, the dog days of summer, and you see the news says, hey, could you conserve tomorrow because we know it's going to be a really big demand day. Well, if we had this technology in place, that wouldn't be nearly as critical to us or to the electric companies because you could store that power and use it the following day. All right? So again, it's stored capacities, it's being able to use it and control it from your smartphone or from your mobile device, and it's being able to control items in your home through your smartphone or mobile device. So the Internet of Things and stored electricity. We call it, again, WISE. What we're really looking to do is really get this technology out there. We've got a number of individuals who have a company out in Colorado that's engineering this for me, but we're really looking to be able to find folks in the area, really around the country, but primarily here in Kansas City. I mean, I'm a proud Kansas Citian. I want to be able to launch this here. I want to be able to participate in what's called Silicon Prairie. I've been traveling around the country certainly, and we hear about Silicon Valley, been there many times. We hear about Silicon Beach in Santa Monica, and we're really trying to promote Silicon Prairie here. So what we're looking for are really trial venues. This technology will work well in both homes as well as commercial properties. We're also looking for partners. What we found is that with this technology, particularly with the storage technology, it's not something that we as consumers are going to take and connect. You need to be a professional. I mean, my wife is here, she'll tell you, I don't even change light bulbs too much. I don't like to even get up on a ladder and do that. So I always call a professional to be able to do that. So we're looking for solar contractors. We're looking for HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning contractors, and electrical contractors to partner with us to be able to be installers as well as resellers. In addition to that, we're always looking for talent, hardware engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, as well as software engineers. I've got a lot of those really good guys that are here, ladies and gentlemen, who really help me with the software side of things, but we're really lacking in trying to get more hardware engineers involved with the project. And then we certainly want to be able to bring the product to market by using, after it's being tested and certified, getting it out there. So again, the sales channel is what we're looking for to help us develop that. Okay. With that said, again, I'd be glad to take any questions. Our website is willcoenergy.com. That site is being updated right now. We'll have an energy assessment tool on that site for consumers to be able to go on, tell us what's plugged into your home, and we'll be able to then tell you how much stored energy you need to power your home, and also help you understand how you can control devices in there as well. Okay? With that, I'll be glad to take questions. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John. I'm gonna hit you with a random sampling of questions.
Please.
So it's kind of rapid fire.
All right.
First thing is, I assume you haven't built this yet, correct?
It is in the process of being built. I have a prototype that we've built in order to get the patents, but not the full-blown device.
Perfect. How many sales have you made so far, or pre-sales of this?
We don't have any pre-sales of this yet. It's still, again, brand new and it's hot off the presses. That's one of the reasons I'm here, to be able to help find those.
How many qualified leads do you have that you say, boy, they need this, and I'm ready to be teed up to sell them once it's built?
Well, that's a really good question, and I'd like to share this with you. Once this broke in Startland News, I heard talk about that, and we received actually calls from local commercial developers who said, we'd like to be able to try this technology in our space. So we've got 2 here, and I've got a couple in other states, one in Colorado, others in California. I've also done some research and work with San Diego Gas and Electric. They've contacted me to be able to come out and start programs out there as well.
Exit, so you have a defensible patent, I'm assuming, and there's something here you own. Curious on, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of movement in this space, and my biggest concern is that how you've described this intelligent feature, how important is that, how defensible is it? If you get in this, what is your exit plan today of how do you exit with the most value and get the most cash in your pocket? And have you thought about that at this point?
About a lot.
I'm curious on your answer. I figured you have.
And again, well, for us, let me start with the patents and the defensible patents, as you mentioned. We have 2 already. There's actually 2 more in the works. I've got final office action with the patent office by the end of this month. What we do with the patents is it's broad in nature initially. It's not just about storage. The patents are for distributed energy source system. And what that means really is that we designed the system unlike the competitors. The competitors are battery companies. They're car manufacturers, basically, that use this battery. Instead of it being horizontal, they made it vertical, they stuck it on the wall, and they allow you to then be able to charge your home. What we did is we started with the consumer in mind. So our mapping matrix is the first thing. Mapping matrix is the first thing that we really believe is a differentiator for us. And what that mapping matrix does is it allows you as a consumer to go onto our website and use this energy assessment tool to say, what's plugged into your living room? We convert what's plugged into your living room, what's plugged into all the rooms in your home. What we do is we convert that information to kilowatt hours. We also convert it to dollars and cents. We pay for electricity by kilowatt hours, but I have no idea what a kilowatt hour is or how that's consumed. I'd like to know what dollars and cents are. So that's the one thing that we do is we use that as a beginning to get people in. Secondly, to the other part of your question is, the intelligent part of it is we're a software company by nature. So that's what we do. We do systems integration very, very well. I mentioned we do that for the federal government. Right now, we're providing about 1.8 billion pieces of information back to the proper authoritative databases each month. So what we want to do is be able to be intelligent and send notices, alerts to your computer or your smartphone. So if you're at work and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you get an alert to say you might want to turn the air conditioning up because you're going to be home in a couple of hours. You can do that from your computer or your smartphone. So those are the things that differentiate us with intelligence.
Hey, Kevin. Tommy, Great presentation. My question is kind of going towards the consumer of what is the cost for the consumer? Are there tax credits, kind of like there are for solar? And how soon is that made up over time with the cost savings that you're giving them?
Really good questions. Let me share with you, first of all, the price to a consumer right now is going to be fairly expensive. It's going to be somewhere around $5,000 to $6,000 for the unit, for the energy storage unit, okay? So, again, not too bad. The return on investment on average is about 3 years. The lifespan of the product is 10, okay? So it's not a bad investment there if you want to really save energy. That's where the assessment tool comes in. If we know how much you're spending on electricity, you'll know what kind of investment, how long it's going to take, and so on and so forth. So we think that from that standpoint, it's a good investment. Also, I want you to know that the price of the battery storage is going down each year. When I first began putting this product together, was back in 2010. And one of the types of batteries that we use, what makes us also different than the competitors, we use 2 different types of battery. We use the lithium ion, which is what everyone else uses, but we also use what's called an ultracapacitor. It sounds like something from Back to the Future, but it's not. It's something that's about the size of a Coke can, right? Cylinder. When I first started, that cost $500. Today, that same device is $50. And the same thing's going to happen with stored energy. So we think by about 2020, this will be much more affordable for consumers.
And what is your go-to-market strategy? Where are you going to be able to excel, start selling units? Are you focused on going direct to consumer or get these contractors, these electric companies? How do you manage that? Or are you doing it all at the same time?
Yeah, we started off thinking that this product was going to be strictly a consumer product. We found out through development and through the feedback that we've gotten so far, it's really probably more of a commercial product because the electric bills are higher. They've got more expendable income to spend on electricity, to save it. And so we think that the best strategy for us is not to try to go directly to consumers, but use the sales channel that I talked about, HVAC contractors. They're in and out of homes all the time, right? Solar contractors that are putting solar projects in, and electrical contractors. So we think that's our go-to-market strategy.
Okay, we're going to open it up to the audience for questions. We have one right back here.
Hi, Kevin. Great presentation and fantastic space to be in, obviously. Curious if you have had any interaction with the Smart City initiative, especially in town out of Think Big, talking to Herb Sy, and if there's synergies there with the Smart City Grid initiative.
We have not. We would love to be able to do that. We've had some interactions with certainly with some people, with folks at City Hall. We want to, get this out there and explain how we can be involved with that, how we can interact with that, particularly as it relates to the Internet of Things. That's going to be very important. We have been a very little-known commodity here because we intentionally were sort of flying under the radar because of the Department of Defense contracts. We needed to be. We now want to put ourselves out there. This product puts us out there. We want people to know that we're here, and we're proud to be here, and we want to be able to really provide jobs and other kinds of things here. So if there's any introductions at City Hall or the folks that are involved with the Smart Cities Initiative, we'd love to be able to do that.
Question on your left. Hi.
Hi.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. You had shown your patent device being outside the home, but your photo depicts inside the home. Is that the future?
That is the future. That's the future in the United States. It's the present in Europe. Wanted to go back to one of the questions that I didn't answer for you. The exit strategy is one of being able to offer this to master distributors in different countries. I've been contacted by folks in Europe right now, and we're going to do some things with a company in the Netherlands who wants to introduce us to a master distributor for all of Europe. Germany in particular, 35% I think of their energy is going to have to come from renewable sources in 2 years. That's a very, very aggressive schedule. So they're looking for alternative energy sources. So in Europe, they're doing that now. In the United States, because of NERC and FERC, and I can give you a lot of different alphabets. We're not allowed to put it inside the home just yet. It has to be outside the home. So you'll see Teslas depicted in a garage, and you'll see it outside, but you won't see it depicted on a wall like this. That is coming, though.
Question here in the center.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The electricity that you're storing, is it pre-metered? So if I have wind or solar and I store that, I consume it. And if I don't consume it, I can sell it back. So if I'm got a storage on the outside of my home or my business, is that metered or not metered?
Our solution is designed to be behind the meter. It's behind the meter storage. What you're describing is net metering, and that a lot of times is a function of the municipality. For instance, in some markets, you can sell it back to the utility grid. We want to be able to do that. When you say pre-meter or post-meter, you've paid for it. You've paid for it, you store it, you should be able to sell it back. Again, that's a function of the technology's there. It's more a function of regulations as it is the technology itself. Okay, so you're going to use that first. How you save money is this. There's a demand charge that we have on our electric bill, right? So we all have to pay something because of the infrastructure for electricity, right? But then there's those of us that use more than others, you're going to pay for that as well. So if you stored it, think of it like this. Think of it as your cell phone. Each night I go home and I charge my cell phone up at night. It's tethered, it's plugged in. I can use it when it's tethered, but not very convenient. I charge it fully, I take it off my charger, and I can go with it any place. Well, you use the stored energy first before you start using the other energy. So what I stored last night, I'll use today and help reduce. It's called peak shaving. And what we're trying to do with it is really get you through the 2 times of the day that we most use electricity, from about 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. when we're getting ready for school and work. If we can use the stored electricity to get you through those time periods, you're going to save some money. The same thing in the afternoons when you come home. When we get home from work and school, 4 o'clock till about the time we start looking at our favorite primetime programs, we want to use the stored electricity then. So the idea is peak shaving. That's how you'll save money.
Question back center.
Hi, so as a consumer, how would I go about the installation of this product?
You'd need to have a professional installer. That's why we're looking for partnerships with HVAC companies, again, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or abbreviated HVAC. HVAC, solar, or electrical contractors, they'd be the ones to do that. On our website, what we've done is we've mapped, again, we're software engineers, we're pretty good at that. So we have in our database every electric utility company's rates stored in the database. We have set up territories for every census tract in the United States and our territories. So you go in there, you say, I want this, you put in your zip code. Simply put in your zip code, it will direct you to the closest installer. It'll tell you how much your rates are. It'll do all those things for you just by putting in the zip code.
Question in the center on your left.
Hey, Kevin, thank you. This is Walker. I'm curious about the capacity of the stored energy and kind of the transfer. Is it like a one-to-one spend on energy coming in and then when you transfer that stored energy? And then what would happen, like kind of the capacity and a solution for if something were to happen to the grid? You said that the grid is vulnerable, so.
Walker, great question, and thank you for that. The capacity for the unit that we designed is 4 kilowatt hours. Again, that doesn't mean a lot to the average consumer. So again, what we're trying to do is get you through those 2 periods of the day that you use it most. That's enough capacity to get 90% of Americans through those periods. So if you need more than that, this is series tied. So you can go from 4 to 8 to 12. I decided that we would use what I call the Southwest Airlines model. And that model is they bought one size airplane because they wanted to have one set of tools, one set of training, all those different things. So we also decided that we'd go after one size initially, and they can be series tied together. In terms of the grid. If there's a power outage, you can certainly use WISE to power your home during an outage. Now, this is where the intelligent part comes in as well, because in a power outage, think about it this way. Okay, now you're in a different situation than your normal lifestyle. In my home, for instance, we rarely use the formal dining room. I don't care if the lights don't come on in the formal dining room. I need the kitchen, I need the bathroom, I need the places that I need to get ready to go to work. So we would, through the intelligent software, say, we're gonna not you shouldn't power up the living room, the dining room, those places that you don't need. Let's just focus on these areas. That helps stretch capacity. One other thing about this that's being designed into it, it's swappable with electric vehicles. So it's kind of cool to think of. Again, if that would be a garage mount, if you've got an electric vehicle, you can drive your car, charge it, drive it home, plug it in, it can power your home through this device. So it's swappable that way.
So our final question for you today, I know you kind of already went over what your ask will be, but what is the number one thing that we as a community can do to help you?
And again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come here and present today. For us, the number one thing really is partnerships. We want to find those solar companies, those contractors, those HVAC contractors that we can begin to run pilots, that and test locations. I was very happy to receive a phone call from a prominent local developer who said, we're building a $50 million project here in the Crossroads. We think this would be great to power the garage here before we start powering the offices. Let's try it here. So let's get the hardware engineers here to figure out how much we need to be able to do that. So we'd like to have more sites like that to be able to test, field test, and learn from that and develop it better. And then partnerships, HVAC, solar, electrical contractors.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation today, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you again for being here this week. I ask you as audience members to please provide feedback to the presenters, whether it's through the app or in person. They will be here after to talk to you. Next week we have My City Med and Messenger Coffee, and then I guess we'll just see you next week. Thank you.